The name of my campaign is called Love Should Not Be a Battlefield. Love Should Not Be a Battlefield is the need for a support group for the spouses of veterans who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder or military trauma. And there is a need for this in Cambria County here in Pennsylvania because there isn't one in existence at this time. Some of the reasons that we need to create a support group for the spouses of veterans is lack of support, primarily. There's limited educational resources on PTSD for just the common public who's not out there seeking it. Cambria County is very rural, so traveling distance to the local VA hospital can be hard for many people to do that. There's no immediate access during a crisis situation. Usually when you call the suicide hotline that is sponsored by the VA medical centers, you will get a voicemail and they say that they will call you back. There of course is 911, but again, when you live in a rural area, calling 911 and waiting for emergency crews to be dispatched can take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes on average. There are limited advocates that are non-VA employees that deal with military-induced trauma. And to have a support group would be able to bring them in and provide additional services. A lot of spouses have feelings of isolation and shame in dealing with PTSD, and that should not be something that is out there. And also being able to help them find additional resources that can help them, whether it's social, economical, emotional. Everyone needs that support because it just brings everything full circle. Some of the issues that are experienced with veterans who suffer from PTSD and for their spouses or caregivers is there is a high rate of divorce amongst veterans with PTSD, as well as domestic violence, drug abuse, and alcoholism. Spouses who have limited to no support system tend to fall into the category where they are left behind. They become a higher statistic to instances of abuse. And again, we come back to veterans have very limited non-VA advocates when it comes to PTSD. So if they're residing in a rural area and they're a longer distance from their VA medical centers, their mental health care tends to suffer. There is limited access to educational resources unless you're going online and doing that, and you're still lacking that face-to-face physical support that a lot of people seek. Again, travel distances are far. There's a decrease in specialty providers available in Cambria County that deal with military trauma. There are a few, but they are very highly booked, and they are both psychiatrists who have military records, so that's something that is valuable. And spouses need support in order to keep the family unit intact. They need to be able to have a strategy for dealing with PTSD with their military veterans. So some of the main things that we would like to do to implement a plan for the Love is Not a Battlefield, Love Should Not Be a Battlefield campaign is to create a support group for spouses of veterans who suffer from PTSD, specifically here in the Cambria County, Pennsylvania area, educating spouses on proven techniques to help reduce triggers from PTSD. This can help cut down on alcoholism, mental abuse, physical abuse, drug abuse within the veteran that is suffering from PTSD, and also reducing travel distances for the spouses of veterans in order to obtain support services. Those are just some of the things that can be tackled by implementing the plan for this campaign of Love Should Not Be a Battlefield. So in order to get the word out on the Love Should Not Be a Battlefield campaign, As far as strategizing and collaborating, we're going to partner with a lot of the local VFWs, Foreign Legions, and other military clubs to share awareness, provide pamphlets of information on the support groups, times, meeting places, what can be expected, to local doctors' offices, emergency rooms, mental health care providers, even within the colleges in the area. Also to collaborate with the Department of Veterans Affairs to assist with educational services on PTSD, and initiating a new frontier on how PTSD is viewed so spouses no longer have to suffer in silence. That's one of the most important things and the main purpose of the support group. So some of the ways that we're going to measure success for the campaign is we're going to be operating within the budget that's agreed upon with financial supporters, which shouldn't be hard because this is going to be a very low cost but highly effective campaign of providing support services to the spouses of veterans that suffer from PTSD. We want to review the numbers of members every quarter so that we can determine what direction we need to move in, whether we need to spread out and expand, or if we need to pull the meetings back in, check the times, dates, things like that to see what's going to work best with members. Ensuring adequate number of veteran spouses' needs are being met, whether again they're socioeconomical, mental health, physical, just that their needs are being met full circle. Provide individual support in a timely manner, meaning if a spouse needs immediate access to a supporter, they will have that so that they don't have to wait until the next meeting. Also adding additional support groups throughout Cambria County as the support services grow. Also to increase the veteran safety and PTSD education, just to have that increase the whole way around so that people are aware and understand that there are certain triggers and how that they should be dealt with instead of creating a whole stigma of PTSD and calling someone crazy, but understanding that this is something that happened coming back from war. So I think that by implementing all of these things together, it's going to put together a very successful campaign to provide support services for these spouses of veterans that reside within Cambria County. And not just spouses, but caretakers, whoever is there taking care of the veteran. Because when someone comes home from war, the last thing that they should have to worry about is having a war within their own home. So there is a strong need in order to provide the services, educate spouses, let them know that there are people out there that care, how to recognize the triggers, how to adjust to having their soldier home from war, how to take care of them, how to be the best support system for their veteran, while still being able to take care of themselves and get the support that they need. I want to thank you for your time. I apologize for the hoarse voice. However, I do hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I thank you for your support.